Welcome to adding and subtracting integers. So today we're going to talk about adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers. First thing we're going to look at is how you would do this on a number line because it's something visual. So if you're someone who does not like memorizing the rules of adding and subtracting integers, this would be a great way for you. So we draw arrows to represent the movement. Start the arrow at the first number, so whatever the first number is of the problem, and move the direction and number of the second one. So if your second number is positive, you're going to go to the right, and if it's negative, you're going to go to the left. So if you look at this problem, if it starts with a -2, what that means is we're going to start here, that's a +2, at -2. Then, so we got that covered. Since the next number is a -4, remember, negative means to go left. So that would be left 4. So we started at -2, go left 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll just go ahead and put a -6 there since that's not quite long enough. And then our next number is a +7. So if you remember, a positive means to go right. And so that means from where I'm at here, I'm now going to go right 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that tells me my answer. So my answer to this problem is a +1. Now that's one way that you can be adding integers. Another is the rules. If both of your numbers have the same sign, you add the numbers and keep the sign. If they have a different sign, so one of them's positive and one's negative, you subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the larger number. Now, I have a cute little way to help you remember these rules. And trust me, it will stick in your head and you'll remember it forever. Here's the words. Sing it along with me. Same sign, add and keep. Different sign, subtract. Keep the sign of the larger digit, then you'll be exact. So anytime you have you can't remember how to combine some of your positive and negatives, remember that song. So we're going to start here. When you have more than one number, you combine two numbers first. So let's ignore the -13, and we're going to do an 8 plus a -11. So what we want to do, remember the song, same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract. So we see the 8's positive, the 11's negative, so we're going to subtract these two. So 11 minus 8 will give us a 3. Then it says keep the sign of the larger digit. 11 is a bigger number than 8, so that makes it a -3. So what I'm going to do now is bring down that -13 and sing the song again. Same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract. So you see that both of these have the same sign, so you're going to add, and keep means to keep that sign. So 3 plus 13 is a 16, and since they're both negative, I keep it as a -16, and that's my answer. So let's go on to the next problem with the decimals. If you remember, when you add and subtract decimals, you got to line up your decimal. So first we got to decide, are we adding these or subtracting these? So we got -8.4 and a -0.7. So same sign, add and keep. So that means we just have to add them. So if you want, you can line them up. 8.4 plus 0.7. So go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Carry the 1, that would be a 9. And we keep the sign. So your answer is a -9.1. So that's addition. Next we want to talk about subtraction. So with subtraction, I have a phrase, stab it, bleed it, change it. So what that means is when we have 5 minus 11, you're going to take the minus sign, we're going to stab the paper, we're going to bleed it down, and then we're going to change the number directly after it. So you make the minus to a plus, and then the number directly after it turns to a negative. You change that sign. And then we would combine 5 plus -11. So let's go over a couple of problems here. They're both subtraction. So we need to stab it, bleed it, change it. So remember, stab the paper, bleed it down, and then change the sign. Now it's an addition problem, so we can go back and sing our song. Same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract. So if you see positive 6, now that's a negative 15. So we have to subtract them. 15 minus 6 would give me a 9. And then we keep the sign of the larger number, then you'll be exact. So in this case, the 15 was the larger number, so that would be a negative 9. Let's try the next one. Well, what happens here? Again, minus sign, stab it, bleed it, and then we're going to change the sign directly following it. So since it's a negative, that turns into a positive. So now we're doing negative 22 plus 10. That's what the problem changes into. So same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract. So they're different. 22 minus 10 would give us a 12. And keep the sign of the larger digit. So because the larger one's 22, and it has a negative sign, that would be a negative 12. Okay, I want you guys to take a look at these two problems. See if you can follow the rules we just talked about and get your answers correct.